What's up, ladies and gentlemen? And you're welcome. Welcome to the Retro Modern Network's topical podcast. 2 beers and a whiskey. This is our first episode. It's a podcast about whatever the fuck we want.
Absolutely. Whatever the fuck we want.
Whatever the fuck we want. I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Pedro, the pastor, Carrasquillo. Carrasquillo.
Your last name's Carrasquillo?
Yeah.
Carrasquillo.
The more you know. You gotta,
He's like from Iran or some shit.
Whoa, okay.
You look more like a Chavez.
Chavez.
Yeah, Pedro Chavez.
And you heard him, the man, the myth, the legend, Watson Thompson. So, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we got 2 beers and a whiskey here. We got a lot of whiskey, a lot of beer. We're gonna pound through it.
We have 7 beers and 4 whiskeys if we're being accurate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're gonna pound through it, and we're gonna talk about some crazy shit. So, gentlemen, the first thing that I wanted to talk about, I wanted to open up because this is something that me and Watson talk about frequently.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried
An
now.
evil supervillain takes you,
Okay.
locks you in we'll say a 50 by 50 room. What's the largest animal you can defeat? I'm going straight up. I'm gonna say I can defeat a black bear.
Black bear.
I can kill a black bear with your bare hands. You're naked, by the way.
Okay.
You're butt ass naked. You got no weapons. You got your bare hands. And let's assume that you're in its environment. So if we're fighting an octopus or a shark, we're underwater.
Oh, so where it's most comfortable.
Where it's
Yeah,
most
right,
comfortable,
right.
yes.
Okay. So I'd avoid the octopus because I don't want to get hen-tied in my asshole. So
Right.
it's
I mean,
probably that.
an octopus is a hard fight.
Yeah, that's probably a no-go. How would you go about killing this black
The
bear?
black bear?
Yeah, how would you describe it?
I'm glad you asked, Pedro. This is good. You asked a good question. So I lower my stance. I prepare for the bear to attack. Now it's going to circle me.
Okay.
And I'm going to circle it back. And I'm going to follow it. And at some point, it's going to get real pissed off. It's going to go,
Roar, I'm a fucking
and it's
bear.
going to lunge at me, right?
Uh-huh.
I use my quick reflexes, sidestep it, take the bear's back,
Oh.
rear naked choke it unconscious to death. And this little bitch-ass dog is going to sleep, and it's dying.
I noticed you used little and dog in the same sentence as you were referring to
a bear.
a northeastern black bear.
Yes.
And while they are smaller to the other species of the bear genre, yeah, they're not small.
I have the weight advantage and the intelligent advantage.
Wait, a weight advantage over a black bear?
I believe so.
I don't believe so.
Hang
at
on.
all. I don't. No.
Gentlemen, I'm rocking in at 300 pounds.
Okay.
No, a 300-pound black bear is a pretty big black bear. Now, once I wrap my legs and my arms around this bitch's neck,
Uh-huh.
and he's going, he's just going to sleep. And
Now-
maybe I jab at my fucking these dick beaters in his eyes.
Dick beaters. Now, I've seen where the Seth Slyhouse origin stories come from, so it could necessarily be true, because this man came from just the backwoods, and yeah, but I feel like you take a bear's back, it'd probably just crush you when it fell on top of you.
I don't know.
Like you'd probably
Is it gonna crush me before I choke it to death?
I mean,
you know?
if it falls backwards.
I got a good choke. Watson knows.
But what if it bites you? Like, bites the fuck out
I'm gonna be under the chin. I'm gonna be under the chin, and I could also just snap its neck. Yeah.
Snap its neck, okay. Snap its neck.
I feel pretty confident that if I get the back of a bear, it's fucking game over.
Okay.
Right? What do you, Watson? What's the biggest?
Now
animal?
we talking. You're saying biggest, not most vicious,
biggest.
or biggest. You see
Because
that?
I don't think that I could kill a mountain lion, which is not necessarily bigger than a black bear.
No, but-
I couldn't kill a mountain lion. It'd
But
fuck me
I
up.
feel like, if I was, take the white-tailed deer, if I was stuck in a room with a white-tailed deer, even a buck, he's going to gouge me, right?
Yeah.
That's a guarantee. He's going to corner me and he's going to gouge me. I'm going to get gored. But as the white-tailed deer, the male, the buck,
Yes.
has his head in a downward angle pressing into me,
Yes.
I will use that to my advantage by grabbing his horns and throwing my left leg over his neck while
Yes.
twisting his head at the same time.
Yes.
Because he is not capable of rolling.
Right.
Rolling with my twist. So my twist is just going to keep going so
Snap
I get
it.
enough leverage to snap that neck.
Snap the neck.
And now I'm not going to be I'm not going to be walking away. No, but I could hobble or crawl. No, no contest.
No questions
No contest.
asked.
So
It's not a fight to see who's coming out unscathed. It's a fight to the death. Who's winning?
to assert my dominance on the food chain over.
Yeah.
Then out of both respect and protocol, I would have to eat
him.
said deer.
Yeah, right.
Raw.
Raw, yeah.
Because you're locked in the room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Pedro? Where you laying in here?
I'd probably fight a squirrel just because I know I'd win, and I'd skull fuck it at the end.
Oh, jeez, dear.
Just to set the
Street
precedent.
cred. Street cred.
You're gonna skull fuck the squirrel at the end
Yeah,
of
that's
the
right.
the end of the fight. I mean,
Because due to things in the past, I did get the nickname of Squirrel Killer because people can't pronounce my fucking last name in Central Pennsylvania. But yeah, so I would kill a squirrel.
see, I feel like anything that I have a good weight advantage over, I'm winning. Because if it's climb on top of me, like if a raccoon's on me, it's just boom.
Yeah,
I'm dropping my weight on it, probably killing it. Right?
that's why I'd kill a squirrel.
That's why you kill a squirrel.
But here, and jumping back to what I asked as far as size or viciousness, if you had a fucking Wolverine
yeah.
Okay.
or maybe a honey badger, that's a completely different story.
Yeah.
If I have it,
And
if
might
I
get
have my
in the
hands
nuts.
on it, I still think I can win. If I just jump in the air with it under my three.
But they're squirmy and they can
Yeah.
squirm, and you're not walking away with many muscles that still work
Yeah.
because he's going to shred you
I
to pieces.
agree.
You might, and he
They
might win
spin.
out of sheer blood loss on your part.
Right, you might bleed to
That's
death.
true.
Yeah.
And I'm not going on without a fight though. Let's. I thought about this earlier about how I would rather fight a bear than like a full-grown, fucked up pit bull.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah, you go with it.
Because those things are
Mobility.
Yeah, they're you can't sidestep them. They're coming right at you.
They're going to go to your neck.
Yep. And the only chance you got is to grab it
And fucking break its neck.
and throw it in the ground midair and just you gotta
Fucking pounded him.
yeah you gotta fight. Just bite him.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, now take that same question and let's reverse it a little bit. What is, if you had to say the I don't want to say biggest, but the most ferocious pack of animals that you had to fight off successfully, what would you choose? Oh,
That's
yeah.
a hard one.
It is hard.
Because
We're talking a pack of like 10 minimum.
you couldn't fight off a pack of dogs.
No, God, no.
You couldn't fight off a fucking lion pride, of
No,
course.
no.
Because
I'd fight the lion just to go out like a man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna go out without
Right.
throwing a single punch. Because they're gonna
Right.
jump on your back.
But I just
And
want to know
bite
that
your
it took a
spine
bunch
out.
of lions to kill me. That's really,
Yeah. I mean that's a pretty good way to
that,
go.
that
I
added
guess.
my legend.
There's
Because you wouldn't know I went out without a fight.
there's a less the legend.
History books don't have the screams.
The screams are the begging for mercy.
Oh my god. What I'm trying to think of pack animals. I could probably fight
Unless you're Liam Neeson.
baby wolves.
Well, so I mean, you see that might even be hard because you remember Jurassic Park. I think it was the first one.
Yeah.
Those little ass dinosaurs that like move through the weeds
Yeah.
and pop up, and they're like, oh, look, a cute little dinosaur. And there's
Yeah.
there's two, and then there's fucking
fucking
50 of them. And I mean, you look at how many of those it took. I mean, granted, we're talking cinema.
I think I could probably take down a good pack of ducks.
Good pack of ducks.
Unless
Have you ever been attacked by a duck?
Yeah, they've
But-
run after you. They flap their arms.
unless they're
they come out.
mallard ducks.
Because I'm just gonna grab.
Ducks
No,
are
listen.
meat,
If
yeah.
it's because I don't want to hurt the duck normally, right?
Right.
If it's coming at me, I'm just like, get the fuck out of here, run away. If it's a fight to the death, I'm locked in a room. I'm grabbing this little.
Flock of ducks.
Big birds are scary to fight.
I'm grabbing this little bitch by his fucking long ass neck, and I'm just Hulk smashing him on the ground, and
Then
I'm
you
just
can
gonna.
use him as a weapon,
and beat
as
the
like
other
a duck flail to hit
Yeah.
the other ducks.
Yeah, I'm going right for their necks.
Or
They're,
like
they're,
you're
s-
fucking Kratos and you have two ducks.
they're stupid, long, evolutionarily vulnerable necks.
Right.
And I'm just gonna grab
then-
them. And I'm just gonna. Ah!
And then if you're really using your noodle, if you're really using your noggin, you take the opportunity of comedy and you yell, "It's Wabbit season."
It's rabbit season. I feel like I'm gonna kick a duck in the fucking head, and it's gonna go down.
You see, I wouldn't think of that. My first instinct would be to run. I was on my motorcycle one time, and I ended up going by a stream, and there were a bunch of ducks
Oh,
and
no.
swans. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I was down a this dead end road, so I had to turn around and go past these ducks and swans, and they formed a duck swan gang.
Oh no.
And they looked at me and they're like,
Duck
"We
swan
have your number, motherfucker." And they ended up. I was getting hit by ducks.
You done
swans.
fucked up. You
Oh,
done
I did. It scared the shit out of me. I wanted to cry.
You done came down the wrong stream, boy.
Yeah.
All right,
So I don't think I would want to fight ducks.
now that we're talking about now that we're talking about herds, let's evolve the question a little bit, gentlemen.
All right.
6th graders. How many 6th graders could you take out before they overthrew you? The classic age-old question.
That was 5th graders.
We're going 6th graders. They're just on the
See,
cusp
they're-
of puberty. They're starting to get a little bit of a build to them, right? But they're still children. They're still little punk-ass bitches. Because I was thinking about this last night as I was doing showers. in my work is miserable.
You might want to define that. Not showers with children.
No,
You
I
showers.
clean showers. Yes,
Badass.
How many children could you kill before they overtook you? Because I was thinking about this last night, right?
Oh, kill. We're not trying to wound or maim.
Oh no, it's a fight to the death. Hey, let's assume
That escalated quickly.
I got a little dark fast.
let's assume for the sake of morality that these are bloodthirsty,
Ravenous children.
ravenous. Like they're out. If you don't kill them, they're gonna fucking kill you. Like they're coming at you.
That's an easy question.
My thing is that we're both plopped down, and I turn and just start running. I'm pretty confident that even as a big, slow man, I can outrun most 6th graders. And what happened? What's going to happen is the fast ones are going to separate from the pack, and the slow ones, because they don't have any. They're just little tykes. They don't have any strategic knowledge. And I'm going to turn around and I'm going to grab the first one by his neck and pick him up and slam him into the ground and punch him through the sternum
Oh my god.
and look at the next one.
I put the fear of God into
So
his
how many
eyes.
are you thinking?
Hold on, I'm not done with my strategy yet. So I punch through the first one's sternum and look at the next one, and I grab him by the head and I say, "You kill your friends or I kill you," and I turn him around. And then once he's
The Saw strategy. He's going to turn them against themselves.
once he's overtaken by the horde, rinse and repeat, I sprint away again, grab the next one, and maybe every once in a while I throw a spinning wheel kick to their jaw.
So we have these things called therapists, and you should probably go see them.
No, listen, I don't want to kill children. I just want to know, in a fight to the death with a horde of unlimited 6th graders,
Unlimited 6th graders, respawning 6th graders.
how many, and they're bloodthirsty, they're coming for your fucking, like, because you can't let them overtake you because they're just going to climb and take out your kneecaps, right?
And start hitting you with their fidget spinners.
Yeah.
I have autism, so I can say that.
All right, gentlemen. So I think I can overtake. See, the thing that's gonna get me is like, I don't think the 6th graders are gonna be able to overtake me because as they climb on me, I'm just gonna fall like Godzilla with them attached to my body. And then it's a fight to the death. If they're okay, listen, I love children, but if they are coming to kill me, I'm gonna punch them right through the neck.
Understandable.
You know?
See, but what if they punch you right in the dick? Because at that line,
Oh, yeah, they are at that.
they're about that height. and,
Yeah.
like,
Well, you see, for you guys, not for me. I'm 5'4".
so they punch you in the face.
I can feasibly, I can blend into the crowd. And they'll be like, "Who the fuck were we gonna fight again?" I'll be like, "Yeah."
I become one of the 6th graders.
So then, at what point do you turn and attack them?
When they're
Do I though, or do I assimilate into their society? That's the question.
do you then become a 6th grader yet again?
To become the very thing I swore to destroy, 6th graders.
Right.
But to answer your question a lot more quickly than you did, I'd have to kill all of them. There's no number.
There's an unlimited.
Unlimited.
They're respawning. It's the 6th grade.
It's gonna be a
hive
time
mind.
paradox. I mean, I'm gonna be stuck and going back and forth and back and forth and back and
See,
forth.
this is my thing. Until exhaustion overtakes me, there's gonna be a holocaust of bodies laid out in front of me.
Do I have a knife or bare hands?
It's
You're
you're barehanded. Let's say you're not naked in this one. 'Cause that's a little
All right.
weird.
Yeah, that's a
That'd be
little
weird.
weird. That's
Fully-
a little weird.
Yeah, fully clothed but barehanded. Because
But bare.
I still really like my idea of just turning around and going, "Hoo-bah!" and then punching the sternum.
And you have all that armor to help
Yeah,
you.
right.
And this is the first time these kids have ever seen blood, or someone else's blood. Like they're free. They're like, "Oh shit!" now it's fucking game on. And I think that I could take out a large number until exhaustion overtook me. What about you, Pedro? How many sixth graders could you overtake before?
Overtake. This is a tough question because I don't know if I have it in my heart to kill some sixth graders. It's one of those.
They're
things
red-eyed. They're fucking demonic.
I'd probably be good about taking about 10 to 15 sixth graders.
You only think 10 to 15? That's it?
I
feel
feel
like-
more than that, man. I mean,
10 to
especially the heart's going to work against you. I don't have a heart.
See, the 10 to 15, because I would plead with them that they have full lives ahead of them. This isn't the choice they wanted to make.
Oh, you don't have time to do that.
And it's just one of those things that...
You're dropped into this white-ass room, and then the bell rings, and they just start running at you.
If I hear a
like
bell,
monkeys.
then I probably turn into Shawn Michaels and start super kicking all the sixth graders.
Exactly.
So at that point, there may be 50 dead sixth graders via sweet chin music. Right.
You got to work, so I'm assuming you
That's
don't.
fine. I don't need any whiskey on my beer and whiskey podcast.
So if I hear a bell ring and I turn into a WWE wrestler, then yes, 50 sixth graders will be dead via sweet chin music. That's my final answer, Regis.
My final answer.
Now you see, this would vary for me because are they acting up? Are they spewing the little bullshit that you always hear from sixth graders?
Yes.
Like, are they then
Or did you take their fidget spinners? That's why you have the sixth grade hive mind.
In my mind, as soon as like World War Z type. Have you seen World War Z with Brad Pitt?
but I know the gist of it.
Yeah.
So they heard these rats like rah, like they're coming at you, and I just think like one good solid shot right to their newly developed temple, and they're just
Newly developed.
and they're just gonna crack,
Yeah, I can get that. I mean,
Now here's the thing, gentlemen. I fought a lot of sixth graders. We'll say they're like 12 years old. I fought a lot of them through karate. Not impressed with their body strength. Not impressed. I mean, I feel like a solid kick to the head.
That's
Chest
fair,
hit.
and these aren't trained because I fought a couple of newer guys that they were my age,
Yeah.
and they knew nothing. So
They knew nothing.
I demolished them and smoked them in the ruins.
Yes.
So all right, yeah, this could work. And then harness my powers of autistic rage and harness that to destroy my enemy.
Yeah. I really think that when it comes to
Interesting.
but eventually the sixth graders are gonna surround you. And
Eventually you will succumb.
And you're gonna succumb to the sixth grade, and you're just gonna know that like you went out, and you just say, "I hope you choke on me, you sons of bitches," as I devour you. They're also
So they're
cannibals.
gonna eat us.
They're cannibals.
Oh,
Yeah.
the cannibalistic sixth graders. Oh,
These
my.
are feral sixth graders.
They've grown up in the woods with the wolves.
Oh my. Oh.
Was that like Lord of the Flies shit?
Yeah. Cannibalistic sixth
Piggy.
graders.
That was a fucked up book.
Yeah, well,
I actually never read it.
Not in high school? No.
wow.
Good for you.
Fuck curriculum.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah, your fucking curriculum.
Who's up? Pedro, you got something you want
I
to
do.
bring to the table? Let's figure it out.
So I want to bring the subject of adulting to the table.
Of adulting, like being an adult?
Being a fucking adult. So Seth, what's your definition of being an adult?
Being miserable.
Being miserable.
That's basically like any time that I'm not a child, I'm fucking miserable. Yeah, so like right now, in 2 hours I have to leave for work.
Miserable.
That makes me sick in my fucking stomach.
Yeah.
And I really wish I could just go up and play video games.
Okay.
Now thank God my work, being the scumbags they are, cut me a week off of my schedule, as I'm getting a new job because they thought that was appropriate and professional.
Yeah.
Little do they know that I'm gonna find a way to get revenge on them. But I get basically a 2-week vacation,
Yeah. There you go.
which I'm going to use to be nothing but a lazy sack of human garbage.
And that is your right as an American to do so.
Yes.
Yes.
Before I go into a job where I'm basically going to work my 300 pounds off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but you'll like it though.
I
you'll hate
yeah,
it.
like,
Or you'll hate it. I don't give a fuck.
who knows? I'll be getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, what's adulting look like for Watson?
From 7 to 7 today, I wanted to off myself in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not because I hate my job. Just because the mere thought that I have responsibilities
Yeah.
makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's I wouldn't say it's all misery, because there are, the things with adulthood that come, like being able to consume the adult beverages, being able to...
It's the only thing that makes it bearable.
Being able to be obnoxiously drunk at about noon and it be okay. And
That's me every day.
And then be able to go home and just get into whatever debauchery that you see fit. And as someone transitioning to my now late 20s, I know, despite my devilishly good looks, I am now 27 years old, and you're in that weird transitional phase where you like everything you thought was gonna happen to you when you were like 25 did not happen. So
True that.
Now you're just now you're in that panic phase where you're like, oh fuck, now what do I do? Because no one prepares you for life after 25.
No.
Yeah, that's fair enough, because I thought I'd be dead by 25.
Dude, no, listen.
It's like,
So
what now?
I came to that conclusion earlier this year, when I was 23 working at a gas station.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? They always told me if I worked really hard in high school that everything would be fine. They told me that everything in college would be fine. Little did they not tell you that if you don't have money, you can't get anywhere in life.
Nope.
I had to flunk out of college because I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
They didn't give me the option of withdrawing because they said you're going to owe $2,000. Well, sure enough, Pedro, what they didn't tell me was that even if I flunked out,
You'd have still owe $2,000.
I would still owe $2,000 because they were going to charge me.
Yeah.
So they left that out. But yeah, I thought I was going to be...
So
I thought for sure that I would be a game developer by now. I thought that was my destiny. I was really good at it. I fucking killed that job, right? That hobby.
yeah.
And didn't work out. That's okay, because now I'm gonna work in a factory.
Welcome to America.
And welcome to America. Yep.
Yeah, and I thought I was gonna be a police officer. That was always my dream job. And I was.
You're too dark for that.
And then we were. I was on that trajectory, and then I tore my ACL.
Oh yeah.
And then now you're just in that phase where like, oh, did you not have a backup plan? What did you think you'd be able to accomplish everything you wanted to do?
Yeah.
And now you're just 27, doing what I do, and you just kind of don't have any.
You just kind of
direction.
accept life eventually,
Yeah.
don't you? I wanted to just interject here before we come back to put a pin in that. I forgot to tell a story about the bear fighting thing.
Okay, we'll go back.
Because I don't know how long it was. I was with my ex-girlfriend, one of my ex-girlfriends. I don't know which one.
One or two.
What do you mean one or two?
Oh, I guess there's three. 1, 2, or 3.
I don't remember. I can't for the life of me
Not your shitty
pinpoint
boyfriend.
which one. But we were in bed, and I remember we were in bed. It was about to get freak nasty, right? And where I live, you can just let your dog outside because he knows where his boundaries are, and he's fine. So I usually let him outside, and we were in bed about to get freak nasty, and all of a sudden, like it was damn close. Like she was on
I
her
remember
back.
this. I remember.
And she, my dog was outside.
He.
My dog was outside, and I just started hearing yelping, and like freaking out. And I was like, oh no, like there's a bear attacking my dog. Because in my mind, I'm like, I have like a big, strong boxer, and there's nothing that's gonna fuck my dog up other than like a dog or bigger sized objects. I'm like,
Or
there's-
porcupine.
or porcupine. In my mind, I'm like, it's got to be a bear. So, in my underwear, I get out of bed, grab the sword that was mounted on my wall, and listen for the sounds of my dog, and run outside in nothing but my underwear, wielding a broadsword
Yes.
to fight this bear. And that's how confident I am that I will fuck up a bear.
Now
Pedro.
let me ask you this: did you maintain an erection during?
No.
No?
I mean, not
that
that I wasn't paying attention to my erection, but not that I remember. But my whole idea was that there was going to be a bear over top trying to kill my dog, and I was going to plunge this broadsword deep into the bear's
Like you were
chest
Conan?
area. Yeah.
That would have been pretty badass, actually.
Yeah. Right.
Outright illegal.
I would have been the man to fight a bear with a sword.
And a
Probably
bear.
the first man in 2,000 years. Who knows? But that was,
2000? Bit skewed, I think.
you think so?
Yeah.
When's the last time you think a man fought off a bear with a sword?
Well, let's see. Swords were mainstream use still 500 years ago. Very common.
I say the 1800s
You're
might
right.
have happened.
Yeah,
You're
you
right.
said 2,000 years ago.
You're right.
So.
You're right about that. I rescind my statement.
Check yourself.
But still, like, I was so confident that that bear was out there. It turns out it was a bobcat, Oh no! It was a possum. It was a possum. That's what it was. And it bit
vastly
his,
different.
It bit his
Vastly
mouth.
different creatures.
It had bitten his mouth, and that's why he was yelping. So
Poor guy.
good story.
That's a great story.
It ended well. Too bad I didn't get to fight off a bear with a sword.
Now tie it back into our topic.
Well, but I was not adulting that day because I probably should just reach for the gun on top of the fridge.
Yeah. That
Were
probably...
you adulting the day that you broke your friend's orbital bone with a sword?
Do tell.
Watson gets a hold of me one day. This man right here, this beautiful man gets a hold of me one day, and he says, "We need to start training for Dagon here," which is this like it's almost like this LARPing war
It's a nerd
environment.
fest.
Yeah, where
By
you
far.
fight with
Pretty
swords.
sweet.
There's armies versus the armies. So we both decided to get these training swords, and these training swords are hard plastic. Like very hard plastic and like actual weight of swords. So I'm like, yeah, fuck you, let's do it. So we go outside one day. He shows up. We're having these swords, and we clash. And it's come right back across, smack him right in the eye.
To be fair, we were fighting for a little. It didn't. I was not taken down that quick. We were fighting for a good while.
Yes, we were training.
Fatigue was in the air.
Yes, and I cracked him across the eye, and he went down on one knee, and I almost cried.
Did he bend the knee?
Yeah, he bent the knee.
And I pulled up, and there's blood in my hands, and then we stopped adulting because, believe it or not, fighting each other with plastic swords is adulting.
Absolutely.
And then, I believe the words you said to me were, "What do adults do in this situation?" Verbatim.
Verbatim, yes.
What do adults do in this situation?
And I'll also add that at the time I was an Army combat medic. And I didn't have a fucking clue.
I will add the pictures to the video portion of this podcast of Watson with his eye all bloody, holding a bottle of Captain Morgan, I believe, in his hand because I was like, you need stitches because he could pull it apart and see like the flesh through his eye. It was a fucked up eye, so I broke his orbital bone.
So at what point did you go to the hospital?
I did.
Okay.
He did not. He did not go to the hospital.
The plan was to get drunk enough that I could give myself stitches because I know how to. I've given many stitches. I've never done it to myself though. So the plan was to get absolutely shit faced and then do that. And what ended up happening was I got absolutely shit faced, and then instead of doing that, I went swimming.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
At a place called Rattlesnake Rock.
I almost drowned that day.
It was a great day.
Oh my goodness. I'm proud of you boys. I'm proud of you guys.
No one else says that.
Yeah. No, that was a really good day. Apart from him getting injured, of course. But when he went down,
But he'll never forget it.
when he went down, I almost cried. I was like, I just took my friend's eye out. My dad always told me it's all fun and games until someone loses an eye.
But then he could have become like big boss and worn a great eye patch and gotten tons of
You fucking dickhead. Why
and
didn't
you,
you
and you robbed him of that.
Wait,
sir.
we both have the sword still. Let's go out.
Disability.
But to wrap,
Jump on that great American train.
Ain't that the fucking
but to wrap that up, we decided that from now on we would wear headgear.
Yeah, we
And,
discussed that and thought that was the best policy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I recommend headgear.
Yes.
Yeah, but then like you just to tie back in, like you ever just like do something super immature after you get done adulting? Like, yeah, I worked 7 to 3 and I'm running home to play a fucking video game. Like,
Oh, that's me
I'm
every
a
day.
like I'm a child.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine because in my mind, like your hobbies do not equate to who you are as an adult. Like 40 years ago, it was weird if you went home and read comic books when you were 30 years old, right?
Now
Or
it's
40, and now it's
It's more like tattoos, socially acceptable.
yeah, now it's more socially acceptable as the people grew up reading comic books, playing video games, watching anime and whatnot. Like
No,
these-
anime's for nerds.
I disagree. I think that, like like Death Note. Death Note's
Yeah.
a super adult anime, not for
You just
children.
watched Castlevania the other night. You were all fucking pumped because we were watching
Fuck yeah,
Castlevania.
man. I wasn't
Yeah.
the only one.
No, I think that there's a lot of stuff that became more adult acceptable. But the weird thing is that there's still like this weird stigma to people who
yeah.
play video games. Like
Yeah.
if I'm looking for a girlfriend, and this is a problem that I think a lot of guys have that are nerds, they look for like these gamer girls and whatnot. If I'm looking for a girlfriend, I'm not saying anything to her about running a video game podcast on the first date. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how I'm trying to pick up women, because for whatever reason, like,
Weird stigma.
you can sit there and watch TV for 6 hours and,
that's
everything's
okay,
fine.
yeah.
But as soon as you play a video game for 2 hours,
You're a
like,
fucking loser.
Well, I'll tell you why. That is. Let's explore the science of this, if we may.
Absolutely. Preach.
And to all the women out here that would listen to this, like all 2 of you,
we're gonna have a fucking army of pussy in front of us.
yeah. This is no offense meant. That I don't give a fuck how you take it. I have no heart. But it's one of those things. I think that they see the video game hobbies and everything that's surrounding that, and they think this motherfucker can't keep a job.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. Is they look at that and see they see the lack of stability. Because let's face it, women like stability. I mean, good for them. I like stability.
Everyone likes stability.
I also enjoy stability.
But I think that's a big thing with it. And it can work vice versa. But I mean, let's be honest. It's much more common among men to go do it, and that's another stigma.
Yeah.
But it seems to prove true. But I think that's part of what it is you know, a lot of women, they're willing to work and they want to know that their boyfriend or significant other is also willing to work to provide, and they see somebody the first time that, you know, wearing maybe a Marvel shirt or they talk about video games or whatever hobby they have, comic books, that's not as mainstream. I mean, it's mainstream, but not socially talked about a whole lot. And they think, well, he probably is lazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it. Right?
There was a massive shift for me when I turned. Had to have been like 20, 21, where I just said, everyone needs to go fuck themselves. And I started like not, because when I was in high school, I used to kind of pretend like I wasn't like all about video games and anime and like and all this stuff, because I was worried about being socially acceptable.
Yeah, and I was friends with you for years, years, and I did not know the extent of your geekiness until well after high school.
Yeah, no, because at some point, like I think it was after I broke up with my first real significant girlfriend, and I was just like,
hot one.
She was extremely attractive.
Yep.
Great person. great person. And I think it was after that where I was just like, I'm tired of like fucking pretending that I'm not this person, because I'm like not just a nerd. It doesn't define me. Like I'm also like a fucking martial artist my entire life. I also played sports in high school. Like I also like have no problem getting girlfriends, except for my recent dry streak where the roll's been pretty dry recently. Yeah. But other than that, my record's been pretty good. And it's just
it really
like
has. It's I think with you, I mean, and this is coming from somebody. I've only ever had one serious girlfriend, and thank God it's worked out.
For like 8 years, right?
7.
7
Going
years.
on 7. But with you, it's been quality over quantity.
You mean quantity over quality?
Yeah.
No, I'd say quality over quantity.
Quality
I think
over
since
quantity?
high school, 3 girlfriends. I mean, you look at this day and age.
That's true.
Yeah.
You look on Facebook, you see in a relationship, and then nothing. In a relationship, nothing. In a relationship, nothing. And people are venting, oh, my significant other is fucking perfect. I love him so much. And then the next day they're venting about, can you believe this fucking shit? And a week later they're broken up. A week later somebody new. Repeat.
Yeah.
So I think three in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good.
They've all been,
And they were all
for the most part, decent people.
2 out of 3.
Yeah, but I don't even remember how we got here.
We're on the subject of adulting.
So I was like, at some point, I was like, you know, fuck it. And that's when I became who I'm known to be now, which is like sharing the fucking nerdy memes on Facebook, and you know, being all about like wearing the gaming tees and the you know, the shirts and whatnot. And it's still not all I am, like, but I think that accepting that part of you is something that's also very appealing to people, because I'll tell you what, gentlemen. Women can smell bullshit from a
absolutely.
mile away. They know if you're like hiding something and pretending you're not doing something, but it's not that I would hide being a nerd going into a relationship, but it's not something I'm going to open with, right? It's not. I'm not going to be like, I got hello, ma'am. I got 75 views on my fucking video game channel last week. What's up with you?
Yeah, or she asks you what you want to do, and you're like, let's put some gunplay together.
Yeah.
Hey, that could be a thing.
I recently went on a date with a like a month ago, with a really, really great girl. And it didn't work. Yeah.
Okay.
And it didn't work out in the end, but she was really cool, and it was about like halfway through. We brought it up. It's not something you want to hide, but it's also not something you want to be like, what's up,
girl?
I fucking jerk off to hentai.
Do you?
No, well, no, it's happened. I'm not gonna say it's not happened.
Okay.
You know, I prefer smaller, like brunettes.
No.
It's from like Riley Reid. She's got those Japanese kanji across her back, and I'm like,
some.
Okay.
You see, I can't imagine how difficult that is, because I know for me personally, bringing up something like that would be very difficult.
Yeah.
And I lucked out in the fact that my fiance, actually, she loves most shit like that. And we don't like the same stuff, per se, in the geeky genre, but we both have, we coincide with some of it, but then we both have our own spectrums. But her and I are both huge Lord of the Rings nerds.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I don't know how I would bring, if I was in the dating game, how would I bring that up? Because I love Lord of the Rings.
What do you think about Gandalf telling the rest of the party to leave while he fought the Balrog by himself?
Yes.
And she's like,
what? You can leave.
So
you were telling her that.
Kudos to you for the route you took, because I remember that night you told her, and it was kind of...
well, she was like totally cool about it. She's like, yeah, I love Naruto.
Yeah, but you had said about how hard it was to bring it up.
Oh,
and
yeah, because it's something you got to bring up very carefully, because like you got to find the right time, because I'm telling you what, like so many guys do this. I have so many friends and like dudes that do this, and they fuck everything up because they jump in, they're like, "What's up? My name's so and so, and I love video games," and it's like, that's not something that like is
you open with.
You know, it's like, what's up? I'm a cool dude would be better than video games.
You want to open up with something that you're sociable, so they can see what they want to see in you. And I'm not saying lie about what you are, but bring forth the qualities that you have that you want people to see that are more socially, you know, based on everyday life.
And I don't know how it's turned into dating as a nerd, but I think it's part of adulting.
Yeah.
Don't you?
See, now let me drop a little bit of knowledge onto you young bulls.
Should we get our raincoats?
Here we go.
He's about to hit us with some cold hard facts.
As you get older and you transition into your late 20s, you're gonna come to realize that they don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
Like when you start.
Well, that's because they got through all the shitheads.
Yeah.
And they're like, I just want somebody nice.
So like a lot of what I do, when I'm talking to girls and stuff like that, is like I'm me. Like I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a huge gamer. I
just have that going for you though, because they see the sports side of that and they see typical man.
Typical man.
That's what they see. And they like that.
Yeah, but I make no bones that like, you know, I love to play video games. Even at work, like on my credentials, there's a photo of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like it's just part of who I am. Like it doesn't mean I go and like straight up bugger eater and talk about video games all the time. But it's one of those things like, you know, when they like say a girl comes over and I'm watching Death Note, for instance, or I'm playing a video game, I'm not like one of those people. You know what I mean? It's like, oh hey, what's up? Like this is what I do. Like,
Get back.
Know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. Like as you get older, you just like you said, you just have to be who you are. And,
yeah.
Like, people as you get older, people are more accepting of that because like they don't care. Like as long as you're not secretly an axe murderer or something like that, or if you are an axe murderer at this point, who knows? But
well, I also think that like I had it a little easier. Like, and I'm not trying to like speak from privilege. I definitely did have it a lot easier than a lot of other like nerds do because yes, I am very muscular. I'm overweight right now, but I used to be in really good shape.
You did used to be in good shape.
And like I'm a black belt. And I'm not trying to like fucking brag, but like, and I do sports and I'm jerking off myself over here. But like, it wasn't like I was the dude that's like walking through the halls every day, not talking to anybody,
Yeah.
like with their fucking
The antisocial crowd.
with their anime drawing
or
books,
running through with your arms
with your
back.
arms behind your back. Yeah, like I wasn't like
be
one of
honest.
those guys.
Like, I see somebody like that, and I want to punch him in the fucking face. I do. I'll be honest. Like that's and I'm an asshole, but I'm a genuinely nice guy. I care about people. I'm cold, but I care about people. It's kind of like a gray area, but anyway, I'm very understanding of many things.
Yeah.
And I want people to be themselves and all that, but I also believe that there's a reality we have to face where when you're in public, you've got to act fucking mature.
Yeah,
When I'm home, I don't at all. Jesus, no, not at all.
There's
But-
many times we've been laying and I've just gone on top to you and started humping you.
Yeah,
For fun.
It's a thing.
You know?
But like I remember in high school seeing people, to remain nameless, that if I still see today, I'm gonna probably punch them in the fucking mouth. But they would run around with their arms back and like make swishing sounds. And it's like,
Wait, really?
oh yeah.
You're like 16 years old, dude. Like,
So we were 18, and they were doing that. I'm
18,
like, you need punched in the fucking face.
Express yourself, man.
And that's coming from like one of the smallest people in our class, the smallest males anyway.
yeah. It's a rough world out there. It's a rough world out there. Watson, did you have something you wanted to bring up specifically today?
Honestly, I didn't have a topic prepared.
Okay, no,
prepared.
That's fine. Pedro's got a couple topics over here.
I do. I have another topic.
Oh, he has a notebook.
Because now as you
Organization.
as you get into your careers or you're working in the workforce, long,
Right.
there comes a struggle. It's a long struggle. I think I've quelled this struggle, but the jury remains out.
All right.
Finding listen.
All right.
Finding a reliable brand of pen.
Oh my
That's
god.
that's legit. That is fucking legit.
Yeah. See, because like I recently fell off the G2 gel pen bandwagon. I'm officially done because when I write paperwork and stuff, it leaks through, makes things hard to read. It just my handwriting kind of sucks, so like it just makes things illegible for me. So I recently switched to the Bic Atlantis, and my sir, that this pen just writes so smooth. So good. It's not a gel pen, and it's just great. And I feel like I've got some brand loyalty.
Well, now here you got to put everything into the test here, and I'll elaborate on this. I used to work in the oil field. I worked both, and it's going to be unpopular, but I worked both fracking and pipeline work. Sorry,
pipe.
Seth.
Oh, loser.
But I worked night shift, and I worked. Our heaviest time was in the winter. We worked in the winter, and I worked my way up to supervisor, and I had a lot of paperwork to do outside. And at night in the winter, when it's below zero, and you're freezing your ass off, your pens fail you.
Yeah.
You've got to find, and it's not something that you're normally thinking. Will this pen write outside below zero, or will this write in the rain?
Yeah.
And there's actually a brand of pen called Write in the Rain that I found. That's a trademark. Write in the Rain pens actually do well in the rain, as they so advertise, but they do well in sub-zero temperatures.
Okay. See.
And I was very impressed with them. I haven't tested most pens out there. I know I tested Bic, and nothing against Bic, but it didn't work for me.
Right. See, but you
And
again,
Papermate let me down.
See, Papermates are rotten pieces of shit. Like I can't stand Papermate pens.
What about the erasable pens? That you
What
have
is
to-
happening?
Where you have to like
I
etch,
don't understand.
you etch away like
Right.
half the layer of paper
Yeah.
that you're trying to erase
Yeah,
from, and
era-
it's like scratching it.
I equate the erasable pen to just like an abomination. Like shouldn't exist. That's what whiteout's for.
No, wait a second.
Because like again, you fucking sit there and you erase and you scrub away the paper, and then what do you have? You just have a pile of shit.
Yeah, but you can't have whiteout right now because the fucking kids. You're all finding new shit every day to get high off of, and you fucking have to show your ID to get whiteout anymore because you're fucking. Oh yeah, I messed up here, and then you're fucking scratching it off, and you're.
Yeah, but-
the teacher's not looking. You're snorting it up.
I actually heard they paint their fingernails and scratch off their fingernails.
Then now you're shit doing that shit.
But see, in order to quell that, because I'm not a fan of the traditional dipping whiteout, I use the whiteout tape.
Yeah, but you still.
It's more efficient that way. I mean, you could still do that, but then you're just an asshole. At
But
that
they get
point.
scrunchy then when
Yeah.
you use that tape
You
because
have to
you
be
don't.
careful. It takes skill. Like, you just lay it down. And it's an art.
It does
really.
take skill
Yeah.
to do that. It took me a long time because I was a free handler at my last job, whatever, and I had to use weight out constantly to fix bill of ladings, and it is a skill using the strip tape. It's a skill because
I don't like it.
if you fuck up, then
gotta
the
do
whole
it.
thing fucks up, and you gotta learn how to fix it.
Right. So I pose this question, Seth. What is your preferred brand of pen?
I'll be honest, I don't have a preferred
You haven't
brand
thought
of
of this.
pen. I normally pick the nearest one, and if it doesn't right, we used to do this thing. And it makes me sound like such a
This is
bad
a good
employee.
topic, by the way.
This is gonna make me sound like such a bad employee. But the warehouse we worked at was metal beams and insulation, and then on the outside was the metal like siding and roofing. And when pens didn't work, we just grabbed them and we threw them as hard as possible into the insulation. And to this day, when you walk into that warehouse and go over to like the receiving side, or not like it's called the big box side, there's just pens littered in the side of the wall.
Don't you guys have auditors that go through? Adult word, auditor. Don't you have auditors that go through and see that shit?
I'll be honest. In the entire time I worked there was never an auditor.
Really?
Yep.
Every place I have worked, which I've worked 5 or 6 places now since I was a kid, and aside from the farm I worked on when I was a kid, I have seen so many auditors, every single one of them.
Now they did make us do our own inventory though, which is the most nightmarish thing I've ever experienced in my
Inventory
life.
sucks.
Especially in a warehouse, and they hadn't done inventory in about 4 years.
Did you guys have a barcode, like a scanning system?
We did, but we didn't use that. We went out and we counted each product individually. And
Well, yeah, I get that from.
when you have a box of 400 carabiners and the number is off a little bit, you need a second count, and then if the second count's off a little bit, you have to have a third count, and it was just it was the most nightmarish thing I've ever encountered in my entire life. I purposefully took off of work a couple days that week because I was like, I was like, I can't fucking do it anymore. I can't do it, Watson, Pedro. I can't do it.
He couldn't do it.
And he did it. He did not. So
he literally chose not to.
so
I had a sweet deal at that job though because I had it going on where basically like I could take off. I was in college and I could basically take off whatever days I needed to take off to do like college homework and studying and whatnot. They were pretty good with it, and then I quit.
right. And let's tie it back in because currently I'm holding a pen that is a rotten piece of shit. I just had it in my car because I needed a pen. Now I pose you to
It
try.
looks well built.
I pose you to try and write with this pen and see how fucking terrible it is.
You're gonna take the first shot, okay?
It's like writing with a fucking knife. Like I just can't stand it.
Oh yeah.
It's not a bad pen. Let
me see.
It glides.
Let me see.
It just doesn't.
It's just that's a fine point. You've got a fine point pen there, Pedro.
It just doesn't really.
I don't like how it feels like it's
See?
digging into the paper.
I get that. It's just from your contact, your surface area on your contact point is just so small.
See, and again, like it ties back. Like as you gentlemen get older, as you gentlemen stay in your career tracks longer, you will find yourself attempting to find quality pens. It's one of those things you don't think about. Like you don't think about it, but it's secretly always on the back of your mind.
I'm just.
And it'll always be on the back of your mind now that I posed that to you.
I can't wait until we upload this and get fucking destroyed in the comments, gentlemen. These comments, this video, are going to be disgusting. Because they're going to be like, what the fuck do these nerds know about dating women and fighting ostriches?
You mean bears? I don't think anyone fought an ostrich.
I'm engaged and I've killed 2 people, so fuck you.
Oh.
Comment section.
We're not going to dive into those stories. I've seen this man when he has PTSD flashbacks. He starts jerking off in corners. It's really weird.
It's called marking your territory, and it's a legitimate thing. And my therapist says it's healthy.
And the phrase is, Watson always insists on coming.
Therapist also said to put a flag up in the corner so I feel like it's America.
He comes and he goes.
Oh, no.
All right, gentlemen. I have
Pedro wants no part in that.
I have a topic I'd like to bring up
All right.
because we bring
Wait.
That's a fat fucker Fort Locker.
this is fart locker. We said we're going to talk about any subject today, and this is a subject that I think we all are passionate about, and that was UFC 214. And I specifically want to talk about John Jones in the main event with Daniel Cormier.
Right. Okay.
Because for those of you who don't know, John Jones may be the most talented martial artist in history. At 23 years old, won the light heavyweight championship in the most stacked division in the highest level martial arts competition in the world. At 23 years old. That makes me his age. And I feel like I'm fucking 14. All right, so
he's a big fucking dude.
He's a big dude. His brothers are NFL. What were they? Linemen?
Yeah, they play D-line. Last I checked, one was a member of the Baltimore Ravens, who fucking blow. And then secondly, the other member he's on the Patriots.
But either way, so he comes from a good genetic background, you could say.
Yes, athletic, very.
And he becomes super successful. Runs a train on the entire fucking light heavyweight division. Just runs a train on him.
Just wrecks it.
Beats all these legends. Mauricio Shogun Hua, Lyoto Machida, fucking Rashad Evans. Kills everybody. I know, I'm sorry, buddy. It's our backup beer. And then he fucks up. He fucks his life up.
Yeah.
He gets caught with cocaine. He hits a pregnant lady in his car. He gets popped for steroids.
Now, to break that down, does he hit a pregnant lady with his car? Does he hit a pregnant?
Accident.
It was a car accident with a pregnant lady.
All right, so he's not physically. He doesn't have a pregnant lady inside of his vehicle that he's fucking punching.
No.
All right.
No. He goes.
They wanted to know.
He goes to jail. And he basically for 4 years he's been fucking a mess. In that time, and Daniel Cormier, who was the Strikeforce heavyweight champion, comes into the fray, undefeated. Beats everybody, including Alexander Gustafsson, Anthony Rumble Johnson, who's got a fucking cannon for a right arm, and comes up, but he's never viewed as the real champion because he lost to John Jones in his first fight. But for 2.5 years, he held the title. Yeah. And then last Saturday, they fought. John Jones ended him with a right kick, or a
front right. I think it was like a right kick.
roundhouse kick to the head, and won back his title. And is now the current light heavyweight champion again.
Yeah.
I wanted to get your guys' feelings about this because, first off, it was a great fight.
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier definitely won the second round, in my opinion, which is amazing because, I don't think anyone gave him a chance against John Jones.
Right.
But also, Daniel Cormier has only ever lost to John Jones.
Yep.
And he's beaten some of the most dangerous fighters in the world.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
So... Because I know there was much discrepancy during that fight. Because were you rooting for Cormier? I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
Right, and I was rooting for John Jones. I've always been a big John Jones fan. Not that I condone his behavior outside of the octagon, but just, for the talent in the octagon, I'm a fan.
Right.
So for me, it was cool. It was good to see him beat Cormier, just because Cormier had run his mouth so much, with having the right to do so, I guess, because considering what John Jones had been doing, but it was almost like poetic justice, because I was one of those people who never viewed Cormier as a real champion because he had never beaten John Jones.
I understand why people would do that.
Right, but me not knowing, I know I'm a very casual MMA fan. I don't know the ins and outs of MMA, and that's a little bit unfair to Cormier because he had beaten just about everybody who they put in front of him. So I don't know if that's the most fair assessment you can take at Cormier. And I thought he fought a good fight. I know there was a lot of people on Twitter that night who were saying, "Oh, if you thought Cormier had a chance, you're crazy." And he was up. He had taken one round and could have potentially been up the second round.
And even if you looked about 3/4 through that first round, you saw something kick on. Right. He got a fire under his ass, and then he started fighting back pretty heavy. And you could see things were changing from the beginning of the fight into the third quarter of the first round.
And in respects to Daniel Cormier, his wrestling is incredible. He's probably one of the best wrestlers ever to be in the octagon. And it's one of those things that he was fighting a good fight. Even the first time they fought, he had fought a decent fight. But
it was a close fight in the first part of that fight.
And then he just they said he had that tendency to duck his head, and when that kick came, that's what he ducked right into it. If you look at the replay, he ducked right into that kick, and that was the end of it.
Lights out.
Right, and as I was cheering, and laughing, I guess, but it was one of those things that I didn't like the way that was handled afterwards in regards to Joe Rogan interviewing Cormier after he'd been knocked out, which he
made amends for that,
but. Because now you see all the memes about Cormier, crying face, which I think is I'm not a Cormier guy.
It's disrespectful.
It's a dick move.
I know, and it's just one of those things that it was a little hard to watch for me.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, I don't know.
It's one of those things, and Joe Rogan explained it, and I like that he went into that. He made a point to say this was he doesn't usually do that, and I understand completely why he did it. But given his history and the fact that he was the former champion and everything he had achieved, he wanted to give him the chance to say something else.
Yeah.
And I understand that, and I do agree that it was a poor decision to make, but that's an easy thing for me to say after the fact, because he's up there and he's got seconds to make that decision. Do I want to talk to this guy? Do I want to let him go? And I think in his mind it's more disrespectful to not talk to this champion versus talking to him, and
Yeah, to be fair, I think Cormier goes out of this fight with a record of 21-2.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a record.
Both to John Jones.
Both to John Jones. He's beaten every single other person in the light heavyweight, pretty much the heavyweight division too, before the new breed came in. And Daniel Cormier is a hell of a fighter. He really is.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people don't like him because of his fighting style, which I completely understand because I'm giving Tyrone Woodley the same fucking shit.
Yeah, oh my god, that was an awful fight.
Right.
But in UFC 200, he fought Anderson Silva, which was a super fight, and he just laid on Silva for 5 rounds. So,
but in regards to that, like
rounds.
it's one of those things that the UFC is evolving, where guys are like using strategy. Joe Rogan even said it.
Yeah.
Like if I'm Tyrone Woodley, I'm not letting Damian Maia get me to the ground. You're gonna get finished.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting finished immediately.
Yeah, and that's a good point to bring up. In that respect, I mean, he is a tactical fighter.
Yeah.
And he analyzed the situation mid-fight and saw that was the best way to approach it. And I agree it was the best way to approach it. But, I mean, you trace it back to the Coliseum in Rome. You win the crowd. You play the crowd.
Yeah.
That's what people want to see, and he's not doing that.
I mean, there's a reason that Conor McGregor is so popular, right?
People love him.
He melts
People
the crowd.
love him, and he, let's be honest, hasn't been in the UFC that long. He hasn't had any title defenses. And he's ranked the number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. The crowd loves him. He's the most paid athlete in the UFC. And Tyrone Woodley could do that if he fought exciting fights. And I think Dana White in the post-fight press conference said it best. He is more athletic. He's stronger. He's faster. And about 30 seconds in the first round, Damian Maia had one eye. Tyrone Woodley could have finished that fight at any point he wanted to.
But he's being careful.
But he was being super careful and staying back. And I think that if I was Tyrone Woodley, I think that I would want to cement, because he's all about saying he's the best welterweight of all time. You're not going to get that status by throwing the least amount of strikes ever in a fight. That you're never going to overtake George St. Pierre that way.
Right. But in that aspect, like Conor McGregor, when he fought, was it Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz? One of the Diaz brothers. I forget which.
Nate Diaz.
Yeah, Nate Diaz. Why did he lose that fight? Doing showmanship, trying to punch, and that's why he lost.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Got to the ground and
he got to the ground because he punched himself out, got to the ground, got finished. That second fight wasn't all that exciting because Conor McGregor fought it smart.
Oh, see, I disagree. I think that second fight was amazing.
I thought it was a good fight. But
I'm with him.
I just don't think it didn't have Conor wasn't throwing like he was.
No, he
in the
wasn't.
First fight,
he was being more careful. I agree with that.
And that ties into when he fights Floyd Mayweather. He's not going to be able to throw
Right.
Floyd's going to pick him the fuck apart. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Floyd Mayweather's the best counterpuncher of all time.
Right.
And he's got that shoulder roll defense. Boxing is a completely different game. And it's that's why I keep saying that Floyd's probably going to beat him. I'd be shocked if Conor won, but
So I'm glad you brought this up, Pedro, because I have different thoughts on this matter.
Actually, can I stop you there real quick? I just want to jump back to the Jones Cormier subject real quick, and then we can close that and move on to this boxing match. One thing that really impressed me, and I was with you, I was a Cormier fan. I wanted Cormier to win, but Dominic Cruz even said this in the post-fight not the conference, but
the interviews he does, commentary.
That Jones really matured from the first fight to the second fight, and the fact that after he won, knowing how detrimental that was to Cormier and what that meant to Cormier, he handled that like a professional and a true champion.
Yeah,
and that meant a lot to me seeing it. And one of my biggest things in the UFC is, there's all this talk, this hype. They're gonna shit talk. They're gonna hate each other on camera, and they're gonna get the people to eat it up. But after the fight's over, I want to see some respect between the two.
Well, there's nothing left. I think men are notorious for this. Is that there's a ton of tension coming in after you fucking throw hands. it's
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
You let it go, and then I mean, how many guys we go to high school with that fucking brawled,
Yeah.
and then they were totally
Yeah.
best friends afterwards. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Right.
the way guys are.
And that made the fight for me. The fact that he did that, and that was, I mean, and Rumble Johnson did the same exact thing when he fought, and I love that. I eat that all up.
I agree.
I like to see that
I
the
think that's
fighters
it.
are professional and they're not just because when I see somebody who wins and just shit talking afterwards or loses and just shit talks afterwards, I see a street brawler. That's all I see. I do not see a professional fighter.
Yeah. Now back to the Mayweather and McGregor fight. I think so. How many McGregor fights have you watched? Not trying to insult your intelligence. I'm genuinely curious.
Well, his last 3-4 fights.
Okay, so McGregor is by far the best counterpuncher in MMA, right? So McGregor's walking into Mayweather's ring. I completely understand that, but I think that the X factor of McGregor, there's two X factors of McGregor. One is that this dude 4 years ago was cashing welfare checks. We've never seen a rise like him. We've never seen him take out the opponents he has.
The determination, the fire.
This dude shapes the world, is shaping the world around him and doing it to his will. It's like he sold his soul to the devil. The second thing that I think is more important is that Floyd Mayweather has never fought anyone like Conor McGregor before. Because the MMA fighting and boxing, like you said, two completely different things.
He's gonna approach his assault's gonna be a lot different. It's gonna be planned a lot different.
So with boxing, like the range for boxing is like right here, right? The range for MMA is like back here, where they throw more shots. They're more open, but they throw from a greater distance. They're more awkward. Conor throws from his hips, and I think that's gonna be the X factor. I'm not sure that Floyd's gonna beat him those first 3 rounds. I think if it gets past the 3rd or 4th round, Floyd downloads his data, beats the fuck out of him, right?
Well, it's not even necessarily a matter of if, because like, how many Floyd Mayweather fights have you watched?
A lot. Because like I'll be honest, before the McGregor announcement, I watched only the Pacquiao fight. After the Mayweather announcement, I found this channel that was live streaming all his fights. I've watched, I think, like half of them since.
Because like Floyd has about 0 chance of knocking him out. Floyd doesn't knock guys
Right.
out. Floyd's
He's
not
got
knockout.
When's the
brutal
last
hands.
knockout he got?
10 years ago.
Yeah,
10 years
like,
ago.
all Floyd fights go the distance. That's where Floyd makes his money. That's where Floyd's the guy. But you might take a round or 2 from Floyd, but like
Right.
through the rest of the fight, he's gonna pick you apart. So that's where again, like I worry for McGregor because like his stamina is an issue for him.
It's very much an issue. That's what I'm worried about too.
Yeah. So-
One thing I'm worried about more than anything with this fight though is that it's gonna be a boring ass fight. Because I think there's a serious chance that this is gonna be a boring fucking fight because
and that plays into Floyd's advantage.
Connor's a counterpuncher, and so is Floyd. Neither of those guys get points when they fire off first.
Right.
So it's like,
But I think Conor will come out swinging. I guarantee you.
I'm really interested.
That's the kind of
Take
guy
into
he
account
is.
too. He's weak. Mayweather's weak against southpaws.
He's weak against southpaws. Now, do you know Paulie Malignaggi, the Showtime announcer, great lightweight boxer, I think? He went to McGregor's camp and is sparring McGregor. And did you see the photo that got released of him fighting McGregor?
Fucked up.
McGregor has his hands behind his back. Paulie's face is busted up. Now, does that mean he's going to beat Mayweather? No. But I also think it means that people are discounting his boxing. Because you got to remember, too, that in MMA, they box constantly.
Right.
That's like, they work on their boxing skills, they work on their kicking skills, then they work on their wrestling and jiu-jitsu and whatnot. So they work as the fight goes through. But McGregor's no amateur to boxing.
No, he's I think from his country, he's like one of the best boxers ever in that
Yeah.
country. So it's not discrediting.
And he's
that.
to be fair, now that Rumble's gone, he's the best boxer in MMA. Because let's be honest, Rumble
Right.
could fucking take your head off with a single punch.
And it's one of those things, like, it's going to be an interesting fight for sure. I'm excited for it. But again, like,
You're coming over for it, right?
absolutely. It is, again, I just don't. I'd be shocked if Conor won, I think. Well, and there are a couple rematch clauses in that contract. I don't know if you saw.
I like how Floyd, during the press, did you watch the press conferences? Floyd, during the first press conference, goes, "I'll fight you in the octagon with 4-ounce gloves." And Conor goes, "Let's fucking do it."
His words were, "I'll fight you anywhere and win."
Yeah.
And Conor replied with, "You obviously won't, because we couldn't set this up for the octagon.
Yeah.
And then it got into the glove conversation, and McGregor said, all right, let's use 4 ounces.
Something that Joe Rogan brought up that I think is really
Floyd would have
important
no chance at the octagon.
is that
Zero.
Conor
No.
McGregor is the first opponent that Floyd's fighting that says, if boxing rules don't apply, I will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
He says that to Floyd during the press conferences for their
Right.
face-to-face
He's
all the
right,
time.
yeah.
He's right. If they were in an MMA cage,
Yeah,
it would take about 30 seconds for me to be able to take
yeah.
him down and choke him the fuck out.
Yeah.
So, there's that mental advantage maybe goes to Conor McGregor. I think Conor McGregor got the better of the press conferences at the end of the day. But I don't think,
When his microphone wasn't shut off.
I don't think that you're gonna break Floyd's mental
No.
game.
No.
Because Floyd's fought bigger fighters than him. Like, it's-
Right. I think that it's gonna come down to Conor's power and if he can land cleanly.
And Floyd,
Which is a big
yeah.
maybe. You're
Like,
right.
I haven't seen Floyd get hit clean in 10 years.
It's Maidana pretty much.
Not even because Maidana caught him with the one glove, but I think
That's
the last person who might have caught him clean might have been De La Hoya.
Well, Canelo caught him.
Not clean, not flush.
No, you're right. You're right. It was, but he hurt it. I think
That's
Canelo hurt
that
him.
shoulder roll defense. Like it just.
One of the other questions being risen, and I've seen it a lot more recently, which surprises me because I as time goes on, I want to discount this more. But what happens if, is McGregor going to go into muscle memory and throw a roundhouse kick?
No, there's no way. There,
I think he's too.
the clause of
He'd
this
lose
fight
immediately, yeah.
says that if McGregor does any MMA moves whatsoever, spinning back fist, Superman punch, a kick, he does not get paid
Oh, really?
a cent.
And like I said, as time goes on, I see this being less of an issue as we get more publicity about him boxing. Because I know in the beginning, when it all started about and they started showing little clips of boxing, the clips they were releasing looked like shit.
Right.
And
Well,
I think that was strategy.
I think so too.
But because he's a way better fighter than that. His striking game is way better than that. But they produced clips of absolute garbage, and you're like, what is he gonna do?
Right. Well, gentlemen, I think we're gonna have to see during the fight night. I think that wraps up this podcast. We're pretty well into it, and had a good time.
Absolutely.
We had a few good discussions.
Yeah.
I've had a great time. I'm super excited for this podcast. I think we have so much to talk about. Me and Watson have a ton of stories. We're going to have a ton of guests on. I want to have... The main guest I want to have on is Robert Swaley, because that man and me have so many fucking stories to tell.
You see, we have a Mr. Corey N. Schilling
Yes.
that I would like to bring in. Because
Yeah, absolutely, Corey Schilling.
He's a people person, and he's a funny motherfucker.
I was at Corey's party. You left early when the stripper got the thumb up the butt.
Yeah.
And that is a good story,
Yes, it
sir.
is.
That is a good story. But until next time, guys.
And be sure, if you have any questions, any topics you want us to talk about, post them in the comment section, and we'll
Combat.
comments.
Comment.
The
Did I say
comment
comment
section.
section? PTSD. Fuck. Please post them in the comment section, and we will pick some randomly if we see them, and go over our take on what you're asking.
Yeah. And also that none of you matter.
Until next time, guys. You're welcome.